The Mysterious Doll. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Eldergrove, nestled between dense forests and rolling hills, there was a legend that spoke of a doll so enigmatic that even the bravest souls shuddered at the mention of its name. This doll was known as the Mysterious Doll, and it was said to possess a power that could alter the course of fate itself. The story begins with a young girl named Clara, who lived with her grandmother, Agnes, in a charming cottage on the edge of Eldergrove. Clara was an adventurous spirit with an insatiable curiosity, while Agnes was known for her wisdom and gentle demeanor. The two shared a bond that was rare and cherished, with Agnes often telling Clara stories about the old village and its many mysteries. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves turned shades of gold and crimson, Clara was exploring the attic of their cottage, a place he had often been warned to stay out of. Agnes had always been reluctant to discuss what lay beyond the attic door, which was locked with an old, ornate key that was hidden away. However, Clara's curiosity was a force unto itself, and on this particular day, she found the key under a loose floorboard. With trembling hands, Clara unlocked the attic door, revealing a dusty, cobweb-covered room filled with forgotten relics and antique furniture. At the center of the room stood an old wooden chest, intricately carved and adorned with faded gold filigree. Clara's heart raced as she approached the chest and lifted the lid. Inside, nestled among old letters and yellowed photographs, was a delicate porcelain doll. Its face was painted with an unsettlingly serene expression, and its eyes, though unblinking, seemed to follow Clara as she moved. The doll wore a tattered, lace-trimmed dress that had once been white but was now a dull gray. Its hair, though meticulously styled, was streaked with strands of gray, and its once red lips had faded to a ghostly pink. Clara's excitement quickly turned to unease. She had heard the stories of the doll's sinister reputation, how it was said to bring misfortune to those who possessed it. Despite her apprehensions, she couldn't resist the allure of the doll's enigmatic presence and decided to take it downstairs to show Agnes. Agnes's reaction was one of immediate alarm. Her eyes widened, and she paled as she saw the doll. She rushed to take it from Clara's hands and placed it back in the chest, locking it tightly. Clara, confused and frightened by her grandmother's sudden change in demeanor, demanded to know what was going on.
Agnes sighed deeply and began to recount the history of the doll. It was said to have been created in the late 1800s by a reclusive doll maker named Hiram Blackwood, who lived in Eldergrove. Blackwood was known for his exquisite craftsmanship, but his dolls had a reputation for being eerie and unsettling. The mysterious doll, however, was unlike any other. Legend had it that the doll was imbued with an otherworldly power, a power that could grant wishes, but at a terrible cost. According to Agnes, a young girl named Emily had once possessed the doll. Emily had been a sweet and gentle child, but when her family fell into hard times, she wished with all her heart for them to be wealthy again. The very next day, her family found a fortune hidden in their cellar. However, their newfound wealth brought with it a series of tragic events. Emily's parents became estranged, her siblings fell ill, and soon, the once happy family was shattered. The doll was eventually discovered to have been the catalyst for their misfortune, as its magic had twisted their desires into a cruel fate. Frightened, Clara asked why Agnes had never told her about the doll before. Agnes explained that she had hoped to protect Clara from the dark allure of such an object and had feared the day when it would resurface. She implored Clara never to seek out the doll again. Despite her grandmother's warning, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that the doll held a deeper secret. She spent the next few days trying to unravel its mystery, often finding herself drawn back to the attic. Her curiosity grew insatiable, and she began to notice peculiar events in the village, strange occurrences and unsettling omens that seemed to coincide with her increasing obsession. One night, Clara could no longer resist the temptation. She sneaked into the attic and retrieved the key, unlocking the chest once more. As she held the doll in her hands, she could almost feel a strange energy emanating from it. Driven by a mix of fear and fascination, Clara made a wish, one that she believed to be pure of heart, for her grandmother to regain her lost youth and vitality. The next morning, Agnes awoke with a newfound energy and a youthful glow that had not been seen in years. She was overjoyed, but as the days passed, Clara noticed that her grandmother's joy seemed to come at a cost. Agnes grew increasingly anxious, and their home became plagued by inexplicable events, subjects moving on their own, chilling drafts, and disturbing dreams. Clara began to regret her wish, realizing too late that the doll's magic was not without consequence. Desperate to reverse the effects, she sought out old village records and discovered that Hiram Blackwood had once been a scholar of ancient rites and forbidden magic. It was said that the doll's power was linked to a dark force, one that could only be appeased through an act of selflessness. Determined to set things right, Clara decided to make a sacrifice. She visited the old forest where Blackwood had lived, searching for any remnants of his life or magic. There, she found a hidden altar and performed a ritual described in the ancient texts. The ritual required her to relinquish something of great personal value, her most cherished possession, a locket given to her by Agnes. As Clara placed the locket on the altar, she felt a strange sensation, as if the very fabric of reality was shifting. The mysterious doll, which she had left behind in the attic, began to tremble. Clara returned home to find that the disturbances had ceased, and her grandmother's demeanor had returned to normal. Though Agnes never learned the full extent of Clara's actions, the village of Eldergrove gradually returned to its peaceful state. The mysterious doll was never seen again, and the attic remained locked, a silent testament to the power that had once been contained within. Clara grew up and eventually moved away from Eldergrove, but the story of the mysterious doll lived on in local lore. She often wondered if the doll was truly gone or if it was merely biding its time, waiting for the next curious soul to uncover its secrets. In the end, the doll remained a haunting reminder of the thin line between desire and destiny, and the lengths to which one might go to protect those they love.